Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo here yet again with another Tinkerer's Cube on Arena. Let's see what we got going on. Never seen this card before. Create a token that's a copy of that creature except it's 1/1 and has Toxic 1. Is this an alchemy card? Where is this card from? We may never know. Not that into that card. This pack contains 4 lands. That's not very appealing. Maybe I should just take Mythos of Illuna. This card always does good stuff in Cube. This isn't the Cube where you want to copy the Mirari Conjecture with it, though. I forget the name of the... There's a red enchantment that's... You also want to copy with Mythos of Illuna. So if I copy my Precursor Golem, it copies... Wow. That would be fancy, but probably not very good, actually. Maybe I just want Timeless Witness or Thopter Mechanic. What does this card even do? Not much. I'll just go with Thopter Mechanic. I don't know what colors I'm going to play yet, but at least I've got 2 blue cards. I really like this guy in this cube. He's not insane, but you can usually kill what you want to kill, and he's not too slow for the format. That said, I'm just going to take Mulder. Keep picking blue cards. If I'm lucky, I'll wield the Frog Clone. What does this one do? No, not interested in that. Should I just take Retrofitter Foundry? Hope to get the Whirler Rogue, I think is the name of it. This is a fine card even if I don't have a ton of Thopter stuff, although I already have 1 Thopter card. Does this thing count as a Thopter itself, or it just makes a Thopter when it dies? It just makes a Thopter when it dies. We have Otawara, which obviously would go in my all-blue deck. Inventor's Fair, tough but fair. I don't know if I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to be using Inventor's Fair. There's also Urza. Yeah, let's try Urza. It's 3/3 Baby Lasagna back yet again. Here's the Ketria Triumph, the land that goes with the Mythos of Illuna. It's also Elder Deep Fiend. It's not really very important that I get the red and green lands for Mythos of Illuna. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not going to dictate my second and third colors based solely on that. I guess I'll take Elder Deep Fiend. I have yet to have Elder Deep Fiend in this cube. I suspect it's actually not particularly powerful. Target artifact or enchantment value. I guess I'll take Tameshi. This might be a little bit on the slow side. I don't think I'm really going to be doing that much with Thousand-Faced Shadow. I'll take Combat Courier. Combat Courier is actually surprisingly good in cube type formats. Mycosynth Gardens. I can turn it into a retrofitter foundry. That's pretty nice. This is also a Shimmering Grotto, isn't it? Yeah. Precursor Golem Wield. So it is available for my Mythos of Luna plan, but if you see me draft cube before, you know I'm just going to pick the land here. Frog Clone. Looking less like a deck that would play Frog Clone, but don't want the red cards, and I don't think that that land is really close to what I'm going to want. So you need to have artifacts and enchantments in your graveyard to be able to do this. Which the Combat Courier will go to the graveyard. And I guess my opponent could destroy my Retrofitter Foundry, but hopefully they won't. That's all a long way of saying I probably want to get some more artifacts and or enchantments. At this point, I'd be happy just with anything. Just please give me another pack. Finally. This thing doesn't really do much. Maybe I would play with this card. Definitely I'm going to play with Otawara. Ineos, the Gale Force. 3 more creatures you control with flying attack. You get to swap permanents with a person, basically. Ooh, do I want Unctus? Seems like a good deck for Unctus, and this seems like a pretty bad pack. Otherwise, I suppose Touch the Spirit Realm would be the other card I should be considering. I'm a huge fan of Lithiform Engine, and I used to be a huge fan of Demonic Pact. I'm still willing to play with Demonic Pact, but I'm no longer a big enough fan that I will give up all of the cards I've already picked just to play with it. I do have Otawara there that goes with it, right? There's also a Lithiform Engine. You know what? I'm going to do it. Demonic Pact it is. We've got the Otawara that goes with Demonic Pact. Does Tameshi... Tameshi allows me to get the Demonic Pact out of my graveyard. Oh, I can give my opponents the Demonic Pact with Ineos. We need a lot of flying creatures to be able to do that. Hopefully the Lithiform Engine wheels, because you really need Lithiform Engine to copy the Demonic Pact triggers. Does this discount my enchantments? Does it help me cast Demonic Pact? It does not. Weak. We've got a land. I need to consider the black cards again, but these black cards are pretty underwhelming. The Raven Man, I think, is by far the best of them, and I don't think I'm about the Raven Man lifestyle. I'll just take a land. course, Skyfisher works with Demonic Pact. That's pretty nice. I bet nobody ever puts this card in their deck. It is so bad relative to the power level of the rest of the cards. In M19, you could play this card. It was like, I wouldn't say it was good, but it was reasonable. But you're gonna spend 5 mana to draw 4 cards and lose 4 life, and then there's this sentence that you're never gonna trigger in a million years. That doesn't seem very good. All right, we're going to need some mana fixing to play this Demonic Pact. Ooh, another thing that works with Demonic Pact. Platinum Angel. Shut down the last trigger. I've done that before. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, copy it if you control an artifact. Copy it if you control an enchantment. Turn a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a 2/2 knight. It just always costs 6. That's a lot. I guess I'll take Baron the Talarian Archmage. This way I'll get to draw a card when I return my Demonic Pact to my hand with the core Skyfisher. Can I do anything sweet with this thing in Demonic Pact? I can phase my Demonic Pact out, but that doesn't really help me very much. Just gonna take Drown and Ichor. Hope that Platinum Angel wheels. What's this thing do? I need a Planeswalker to get full value off of it. Also, it requires double white to activate. I think I'll just take this land. Obviously, I'm not putting this in my deck for the red mana. It's just blue-white comes into play tapped land. It does count as a plains and an island, so it helps my Glacial Fortress, which that at least is nice. Wait, which Urza? Oh. I thought I had this Urza, but there's 2 Urzas. Too many Urzas. I'll take Metallic Rebuke. So wait, which Urza do I have? I have the one that I need to get the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. And I guess it's making some of my spells cheaper. The Unctus Wield, I'm not surprised by that. Oh, I've got the combo Hard Evidence to make a blue crab token, Unctus, so I get a looter. I'm getting paid for attacking with my crab finally. Very surprising Liliana's contract is still in the back. I'm beginning to think that splashing for Demonic Pact is not the smartest decision, but I'm definitely still going to do it. I don't have a ton of stuff that works with Hellish Norn. Also, I have Core Skyfisher for the Nambo. Do I like any of these cards? Not really. I guess I'm taking Kairi. Didn't really want to take Mana Confluence. I want some land fixing, but Mana Confluence is a little bit too painful to pick that highly, I think. So I could take a Temple of Deceit here. We're at 17 spells, and I probably want to get to 23. This card's actually fine, too. You get to play it for 2 mana, a fair amount. I can't bounce my own things with it, though. It's kind of annoying. I'm just going to take Temple of Deceit. I don't remember what this does. Yeah, I'm not going to pick that one. I think I'll just take the Celestis. Can I cityscape level my own stuff? I can. I'm going to want to do that to Demonic Pact. I'm going to put any of these cards in my deck. I guess I might play Atrada. It's a pretty good body. Scholar of the Lost Trove. Instant sorceries and artifacts. I don't have a ton of great targets for it, but I do have some. Ooh. This is a good Emery deck. Not really. I love it when Ominous Seas is good in a deck, but I don't think this is a good deck for it. I'm just going to take the land. Still want to get 2 more spells. I guess I can loot away stuff with Unctus and maybe get it back with Emery. I just don't have that many things that actually count as artifacts. Can you Kairi? I can Kairi my Demonic Pact as well, but I have to be able to kill it for that to happen. Not so sure I'm that good at killing it. Irenicus's Vile Duplication is good with Scholar of the Lost Trove, so I'll certainly play that. It's also probably pretty good with Unctus. Do I want Connive Concoct? I think I just want Hollow Storm Giants. It's hard to go wrong with the Hollow Storm Giants in a blue deck. I might just play 18 lands. Got some looting ability from Unctus and the Celestis. Maybe change of plans. Maybe I'll just play Gravlax, or I can play the Witching Well. It's probably better than Gravlax. Which card's worse, Form of the Dinosaur or Liliana's Contract? Leave a comment. Because that's something that I think we need to settle. Because I can't imagine putting either of those cards in my deck. And I put Conduit of Worlds in my deck once. So this gives me 6 black lands plus Mycosynth Gardens plus Celestis. I guess the question is, do I actually need the plains? I don't think I need the plains. Just gonna play another swamp. So I can live the dream and cast Demonic Pact on turn 4. I'm going to start on the Witching Well this turn. I definitely want to get it into play. I think I'm going to go bottom on both of those. Now I'll be able to play Retrofitter Foundry on turn 2 with a Swamp. And then I'll have access to Metallic Rebuke if I want to play it. If I don't allow Arena to tap my island. I don't know what kind of 2-drop I'm expecting them to play that I'm definitely going to counter, but I got the choice. I'm not going to counter that one. It's not that this card's bad, it's just that it's, I think, better to save my counter for a more expensive card that is actually affecting the board. Go for some lands. I'll just go ahead and counter that. Not that it's the greatest card in the world, but they do have something in the graveyard they would get value from. And don't necessarily want to be leaving my mana up all the time. How does this thing work with artifact creatures? It's a lord for them. Allows me. I'm gonna loot away my. I guess I'm looting away Tameshi. Actually, I was gonna say I'm gonna loot away the Thopter mechanic, but I think the Tameshi is probably even worse. I really just want to find more lands. They don't have a bunch of enchantments, because my deck's really actually not that good at getting rid of this Archonic Grace. Can you do this at instant speed? You can. Still in a lot of trouble. Even though I'm giving them a beatdown, but they're going to gain 7 life in the air. That's not going to go well for me. Wait, why does this guy have flying? Does this thing get flying? Oh, it does. Okay. Wow, they're really doing it with these enchantments and the Archon of Grace. Maybe I should have just made a Thopter and double blocked. I think it's worth putting the Thopter mechanic in play. I'm not entirely certain that that's actually the case, though. It depends. If they stop attacking with the Archon of Sun's Grace, then the Thopter mechanic kind of isn't going to be doing much. Oh no, that's not good for me. Wait, why didn't they go after the Unctus? Should have done this last turn. That's a handy one to be able to discard. Oh, and I'm growing the Thopter mechanic with Unctus. Nice. These cards weren't originally in the same set, were they? No, they weren't. Okay. I don't think that actually does very much for them. It gives them a double scry, double dose of the scrying. It's going to be a long video if every game goes like this, because I think I'm going to win this game, but it's still going to take quite a while. I don't think casting this guy does anything for me. Honestly, I'd be happier if it was just a land. I'm going to save it in my hand and maybe discard it a turn or two to Kairi. I think this turn I'm going to just sack my Witching Well rather than turn the Mycosynth Gardens into another Retrofitter Foundry. If I make the gardens into a retrofitter foundry, I'm -1 mana, but I'm not having to spend 3 mana to untap the retrofitter foundry. Like, I get the second activation each turn for free, so it kind of is saving me 2 mana per turn, although it's at the cost of losing the flexibility of the Mycosynth Gardens. Also, why haven't I drawn my Demonic Pact yet? This thing I do think I will put in play. I don't have, I need another flying creature for next turn. And then I'll be able to swap a Rue with them. Alright, I'm under a bit of a clock. So the approach of the second sun. At least they cracked their witching well before they cast it, so it's going to take them a little while to find it again. I don't think I have anything left in my deck that would stop it, which is kind of sad for me. Choose a non-land permanent. This is what I'm giving them, I think. Choose a non-land permanent. Discard a card. Discard my swamp. Discard a card. I'll discard my Temple of Silence. So I can Otawara the legitimate business person, which would give me an additional Unctus. Should be pretty good. Ha! Good thing I stole that Elish Norn. I think I'm going to live the dream. Maybe play turn 4 Demonic Pact. We'll see. If I have other cards to cast that turn, maybe I won't do it. I'm certainly going to spend my mana on turn 4. It's just, is it going to be on Demonic Pact or is it going to be on something else? Digging for something that helps me with Demonic Pacting. Such a weird ability. Rude. Ooh, they have Mycosynth Gardens in their deck as well. I love Rowdy Crew. Come on, don't be big. Good, it's not a big one. It's a modestly sized Rowdy Crew. I think I'm wishing that I had kept that Baron on top of my deck now. Come on, hit something bad. Everybody has that thing. It's time. I don't have anything there. Oh, they have shredded sails. I can shred the sails of my combat courier. They have to spend mana. So I don't even know that they would do that.
Even Titans obey my commands.
That's a big boy. Should I make a second Demonic Pact? So next turn I'm going to do the Drain 4. Turn after that I'm going to core Skyfisher. Sometimes you just need a second Demonic Pact. Are they going to turn their Mycosynth Gardens into a tapped rabbit battery? Because I wouldn't be expecting it. Didn't really enjoy that. So I'm going to make them discard. I guess I'm going to 4-ball the Annex. Maybe I should just make them discard completely. Why was it? Oh, I'm taking damage from the Glinthorn Buccaneer. I was like, what? Where's the damage coming from? The answer is the Glinthorn Buccaneer. That's where the damage is coming from. I know everybody's hoping that I was going to make even more Demonic Pacts, but I think time has come to pay a little bit of attention to what's in play. Bang. Bang. Then next turn I can Otawara the copy of the Demonic Pact. I might just try to kill them by Odawaring the or Skyfisher. I want to see what I draw. I guess they're dead if they have nothing. Just to what I have, so I'll force them to have something. If I Elder Deep Fiend them to force through the damage and they have something like Lightning Axe, then I die to the Tainted Pact. I probably could have afforded to just put the Elder Deep Fiend into play there. I was too busy talking. No Demonic Pact. I'm not going to mull the Demonic Pact, though. That's probably not a good strategy. Next turn I'll be able to cast Muldrifter. I might trade it off before I get to Mythos of Eluna, but it is tempting to keep it around to copy. It's Alicia who smiles at death. So I think I'm going to hold off on the Muldrifter for a turn. They appear to be a fairly aggressive deck, so I think it's better to play 2 spells, not fall too far behind. Also, my deck doesn't have a ton of things that are good at blocking a 3-power first striker, so it's pretty likely that I'd take a bunch of damage from Alicia if I don't drown it in Ichor. Not at all surprised that it turned out they had something there, but I was just going to force them to play whatever it was. I think now I want to keep my Muldrifter around because I'll be able to go next turn Urza, copy the Muldrifter, and then the turn after that I'll be able to Scholar and recast. Alright, I'm going to risk the Muldrifter on the 1/1. Be a little bit sad if it gets finished off. I definitely would play Mythos of Eluna this turn over the Baron because I want the Mythos of Eluna in my graveyard so that next turn I can Scholar of the Lost Trove it. Oh, are we setting up for the Ineaz Demonic Pact win? Probably not. I think I'm still just going to Scholar of the Lost Trove next turn. I don't know what they're thinking. Is there some card that's like +2 to all attackers? Why are they doing this? I'm not sure it matters though, because I don't really care about any of these creatures. I just want to keep my life total high. Can I Baron or the Urbrask's Forge? No. I see. Alright. And they had something, but it's... I wouldn't say that that was really a very big deal for me. Not gonna proliferate on Urbrask's Forge. I'm willing to help my opponent out, but not that much. I would have had actually an interesting choice whether or not to block the Urbrask's Forge token if they hadn't spent all their mana before even threatening to do anything. I can't bring myself to discard the Demonic Pact. Even though I can't cast it, it's the source of all of my deck's power. It's nice to have 2 8-drops in your hand at the start of the game. Guess I'm keeping both of those. I want my 4th land for sure on turn 4 so I can crack the Witching Well. And Metallic Rebuke is a fine card to have at the start of the game. It doesn't appear to have much going on. This is probably another one of those games where they just have a bunch of the like 3 and 5 mana counters. And my hand's all expensive cards, so I'm just gonna get crushed by them. They disallowed the Witching Well? That was an aggressive play by the opponent. If they weren't worried, I would just untap and play something good. Maybe their hand is all removal spells. Please don't have Gale's Redirection, whatever that card's called that steals the spell. Siphon Insight, alright. That wasn't great, but at least they didn't steal it. That was not a very good draw. I'm gonna have a hard time beating that. I guess if I draw an untapped land next turn, I can just Cityscape level it. It won't have done that much damage to me. Didn't even loot with their blood token. I've read this guy so many times. He just seems horrible. I think that's the main reason I don't like him very much, is he seems horrible. That said, I will kill him. Wow, they love their Zerzaz. See if I can draw land. I can. Good for the rebuy. It was a bluff. I just wanted the card. Ooh, Demonic Pact. I think I'm gonna start with Cityscape Leveler though. See if I can level the Stensia Uprising. And that's one problem down. I'm not expecting that I'm going to get to untap with the Cityscape Leveler in play. So things aren't looking great quite yet. Can I clone my opponent's stuff with this? No. I can with Mythos of Illumina, though. Oh, am I just straight up dead? Probably. Not quite, but it's not looking good. I need a second Zerzaz. I think I might. They can just respond by makeshift munitionsing. This guy's name is not Zerzaz, it's Zerzath. My apologies. If I get to untap, I guess next turn I can Cityscape level the makeshift munitions. That's a little scary. That's not that scary. So I'm going to be at 10 life. I have to Cityscape level the makeshift munitions, I think, to not be on the verge of dying. I think I should have played the hard evidence before the Zerzoths went off, just to make sure that I don't wind up with a hand of uncastable cards and take damage from Fevered Visions. It's probably not going to backfire because I can also just find lands. Holy cow, they're getting double the Power Stones. This guy just gets indestructible. I think all of these, when you get the counter, it's just an indestructible counter. I don't think they ever get any extra benefits. Okay. Didn't even want to attack with Mondrak? Have any good artifacts or enchantments in my graveyard? Witching Well? Oh, I have Unctus. Am I going to want to Tameshi Unctus into play? Probably not. I think I actually want to cast Demonic Pact, though. I think the 4 damage is just going to be enough to kill them. Because I can also force them to kill my devil tokens next turn. Just gain a life with the Celestis. That actually wouldn't be that bad of an idea. I don't think putting Tameshi into play does anything. I think I just want to maximize my chances of getting to my next upkeep. It really seems like this guy's name would be better if it was Zerzaz instead of Zerzoth. Having been forced to have 2 of them in play, I feel pretty strongly his name should be Zerzaz. A bit late on this one. This is an ambitious Ominous Seas. This card does have cycling. They could have cycled this in the hopes of, you know, finding a card that would do something. This was a crazy game. I think I would have lost for sure if they just used makeshift munitions to shoot my copy of Zerzaz when I tried to clone it with the sorcery speed clone. If I draw any 3rd land, I'll be able to cast the Celestis, and then my hand is completely functional. And it's pretty hard hitting. I'm gonna just try to block him. And if that doesn't work, next turn I'll go Celestis and play a Mycosynth Gardens and Drowning Ichor. Swiftblade Vindicator. Worst case, they have Blazing Crescendo. It's Alicia who smiles at death. Do I want to play Drowning Ichor this turn or just play Korf Skyfisher? I think I'm going to play Drowning Ichor. And I'm willing to block. So I'm not going to attack. Well, I can turn things into artifacts with Unctus and then turn Mycosynth Gardens into them. I don't know what kind of game I would be playing where that would matter, but maybe it could come up. Let's just make a 5/5 flyer. Oh, sorry, 4/4. I need to pay mana or life to turn him into a 5/5 at sorcery speed. Sadly. This guy never seemed to do anything in his limited format or in standard. And I think now that he's in cube, he also tends to not really do anything. I hope they don't have the land so that they can meld those, because that would be bad for me. So I just play two things. Guess I could play this as one of my two things instead. I'll have to take some damage if they enlist the Guardian of Nubenalia. So I'm probably taking at least 4 damage this turn. I like that my opponent hasn't played Handwear Battlements yet. I think if they had that in their hand, they would already have played it. That's the thing that makes this into Handwear, the Writhing Township, 7/4 Trample Haste. That creates 6 power with additional attackers. Wrote to attack. Ooh, they're just gonna profit some 1/1s. Wait. Just block the 1/1s. I guess they're forcing me to put a bunch of my cards into combat and get some damage on them, so maybe they can have a spell that'll finish it off. I think I'm still just going to block everything, though. The Unctus is my most important card. Well, I won't block with it. Maybe Ineaz was more important than Unctus. At least you can make an argument for that. All right. I also, if I had blocked with Unctus instead of Ineaz, I wouldn't have killed the Hanwar garrison, so they wouldn't have gotten their card till end of turn, which maybe would have changed their play. Urza evolve? Other blue creatures. I should have attacked with Urza. I wanted to get to loot. All these cards have so many words on them. So I can loot the Retrofitter Foundry away and then bring it back with Tameshi if I want to get an extra card. Or I can also just loot away a land. This one's pretty horrible. Isn't it going to die at the end of the turn? So it's just going to come back. Please exile my Muldrifter. I'll accept one Muldrifter's worth of exiling. Just gonna discard the swamp, I think. Does it cause me to change my plans? No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to play the Elder Deep Fiend, sacking the Muldrifter, and make a 1/1. Guess the 1/1's a 2/2 even. I don't have enough mana to both make a token and sack the Urza instead. This is a good turn to have access to Elder Deep Fiend. This is sorcery speed. So I can just Elder Deep Fiend this in combat and they can't make anything new. What if they're going to make more Savior of Allenbachs? Or they've learned the lesson on that one. No, I could have afforded to sack Urza instead. That would have probably been better just because I have the clones in my deck, that it would be nice to be able to clone a Muldrifter if I drew the clone. Animate this and I attack with everything. They would block it. It's only 13 damage, so it's probably not worth it. Shouldn't have played my land. This is a cast trigger, so I don't get the tapping. Doesn't make sense to save it. Also, this doesn't make the thing non-legendary, so I can't just make another Unctus. Costs 4 mana to convert this into a construct. I guess they can Savior of Allenbach the tokens. Which doesn't help them that much because I'm just going to be sacking the token to the Retrofitter Foundry anyway. This token has it's 8. Is this based on casting cost or power? Oh, it's not based on anything. So they can just exile my token. Wait, why did they? Do it like that. Oh, there's 2 training. I see. This is what they're doing. That makes sense. So 6. Oh, I'm dead. No, I'm not dead. I need to, but I'm forced to block. There, right? Take 6, 7, 8, 9. If I block there instead, I take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I think I take 11 if I block like this. I could have played this game better for sure. I think I'm dead if they just Jaxes the hand where Garrison. Attack with everything. I didn't remember how Savior of Allenbach worked, which was a big part of why things went so badly. I needed to leave more blockers back last turn. Even then, the Angel Fire Ignition was going to lead to a life swing that was going to be hard to beat. 8 attackers, 5 blockers. I'm dead. Come on, third land. You're not the third land I was looking for. That's more like it. We'll keep going with even more lands. I really don't like this card. It has so many words on it. I get more and more confused every time I play against it. I just want to play this thing. Then next turn I could go Celestis, Drown, and Ichor, maybe? Or I guess I could also just play a Trotta next turn. So what, they get the tokens for non-token humans. So I can kill the Spectral Sailor and they won't get a token. And I don't want them to ever be 13 life. I think they're going to get to draw a card off the Spectral Sailor. If the game drags out, I can just start sacking my combat courier and then bringing it back with Tameshi. They didn't draw a card. Instead, they flashed in Wrath Capation, the ship's mage. They have multiple of the 13 theme cards. I like it. If I had drawn my Rogrim Triome in addition to my Celestis, I could have played the good form of Mythos of Aluna. Sadly, that's not what happened. Who are they going to impersonate? They're going to impersonate a Trotta. Should I have Trotta there a Trotta? Mythos of Aluna, their Rafcapation? I think rather than sacking the combat courier here, I'm going to use the Retrofitter Foundry to get that thing started. If I draw a land for the turn, I'm going to, on my turn, crack the combat courier. Core Skyfisher. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that this turn. I can afford to bounce the Scry land because I can activate the Foundry. And still miss Metallic Rebuke. Kind of wasting the value of the Witching Well a little bit here. Do I want Otawara? I guess I actually need a land if I'm gonna play the Cityscape Leveler. I can flash in the Cityscape Leveler if I have Rafcapation, right? Artifacts are historic. I need to draw with the Combat Courier so I can get to the Otawara to make my 8th land drop. Is there a reason to flash it in? I don't think so. This allows me to just attack. Is it good to attack, though? Probably not. So maybe that was a mistake. I don't want to attack just because if they have a removal spell for the Cityscape Leveler, I take a bunch of damage in a spot where I think I'm much more likely to win if the game goes longer. They have a little bit of a card drawing engine with the Triska Decaphile, but it costs 4 mana and they only have 6 lands in play. Whereas I have multiple card advantage engines and more mana. All right. I guess they had 7 counting the power stone. Still not that scary though. Might just want to use Witching Well here. What I want to do is draw a Demonic Pact. It's been a long time since I've had a Demonic Pact in play. This deck is incredibly slow to play. This video is going to be super long. I hope you're enjoying it. Or, well, I hope you're enjoying it, because if you're watching it and you're not enjoying it, that's a sign of something going wrong. They have Atrada and they have a Clever Impersonator of Atrada in their deck. I probably should have countered that. I was too busy laughing about it. I don't think that made sense, what I just did. I was thinking I would core Skyfisher the Baron and then I'd get to draw the card, but the Baron wouldn't have been in play then, so then I wouldn't get to draw the card. Finally, I'm going to play my Metallic Rebuke. Seems like my opponent and I have a lot of the same cards. We both have Kyuri, we both have Atrada. Maybe those are the only ones we both have. I'm not sure Rafcapation's actually in this cube. I think my opponent may have snuck it in. It's the first time I've ever seen it in this cube. The hold up here. They're getting priority because they're capable of giving Jaren or Poppet Stitcher lifelink because of the Worn Power Stone. I don't know if they have anything else they're actually able to legally do. Probably not. If they play a Atrada next turn, I'm going to Vile Duplication my Baron, Tolarian, Archmage, and bounce it again. I think I've got enough going on that I can just play for tempo. I'll be hitting them for 8. Put them to 10. Actually, I'll be hitting them for 9 because this is going to be a Thopter. I just had a horrible thought. Oh no, I forgot that they could do something to be at 13 life, and it would be bad for me, but thankfully I wasn't putting them to some sort of life total where they could get to 13. So they're probably going to have to Atrada the Kairi. And then, if I want to, I can get instants and sorceries back. Which I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Oh, it exiles. Never mind. I'm not getting anything. I was robbed. I think I was robbed. There's so few rogues in this cube that it really makes Zerasan a lot less intimidating than it might otherwise be. It's here, everyone. The Demonic Pact we've been waiting for. They do have access to giving some of their things lifelink. Although I can be blocking with servers that I can turn into Thopters, so that might not work. They'd have to, I think if they attacked with multiple things, it would work. Multiple humans on the ground, they could give lifelink. They could get to 5 life, so I wouldn't just kill them with Demonic Pact, but they would have to attack with so much they would just die on the crackback. They're going for it, though. I have enough mana? Oh no, I have enough mana to just block both of them. Just make them all into Thopters. I definitely don't have enough mana to do this. Why did I think I did? I'm not even close. I was off by 3. I hope this kills them. Seems like it. They go block, block, take 7. Oh no, they can only block one of them. This guy can't even block, so they're taking 11 damage. Doesn't seem like they're going to survive. Turn 4 Demonic Pact, maybe, if I'm lucky. I'm going to bottom that because it doesn't help me with my Demonic Pact plan. Can't really let that thing live. It would flip and then it produces a bunch of mana for them effectively. Which I don't like it when things do that. So what ways do I have to deal with the pact in my deck? I've got Otawara, Core Skyfisher, which I don't have the planes for, Cityscape Leveler, which I'm pretty far off of, but I draw a white source of mana. I'm sure I'll draw the Core Skyfisher or Otawara, or I'll die trying. I think there might be one more card I'm forgetting about. I hope so. Are they just going to blow up the Demonic Pact? That would be sad. Usually with the Pact, you don't want to choose to make your opponent discard initially if they have so many cards in their hand. Like, unless you're getting their last... You know, if they have 3 or fewer cards in their hand, then the discard's pretty effective. Otherwise, it's kind of whatever. If there's a really juicy target to use the deal 4, gain 4 on, that's also pretty nice. So I'm going to kill the Vizier of the Menagerie this turn. Or I could just go for lose the game. Just cut my losses on this one. I drew the Otawara. The math might not have been on my side, but I had faith in my deck. Okay. It's a good thing I drew the Otawara, not the Core Skyfisher. And it's on a scry denial strategy. I'm going to do this now in case I draw a tap land. I didn't draw a tap land. I did draw the Tameshi, though. So I'll be able to Tameshi back the Demonic Pact in a turn or two if I want to. Yikes, that's a lot of 1/1s. I know that even Demonic Pact is going to be able to save me here. An excessive amount of damage. My Scholar of the Lost Trove doesn't even do anything because of the Hellish Norn, which is pretty rude. My opponent. Also, the Muldrifter doesn't really do anything. Cityscape Leveler still works because it's a cast trigger. It's pretty nice. So hopefully their hand is nothing. If their hand is nothing, they're going to hit me for 4 in the air. I'll attack and level the Hellish Norn. Probably play some stuff, and I can Elder Deep Fiend away the leveler potentially to tap down the tokens for a turn. Maybe I was supposed to discard Demonic Pact to this trigger, because I can Tameshi it back. I need to. Don't like that. Does that kill me? Yep, it does. Yeah, I didn't really want to sit on Metallic Rebuke. just because there's no guarantee that they're going to play anything on their 4th turn. Drew all of my expensive cards this game. That's not good. I guess I can pass the turn and pitch the Cityscape Leveler to the Celestis. And as long as I find a 7th mana, things will probably work out okay. Maybe not, though. Pretty close to just killing me. Gonna go down to 4. It could have been putting me to 3 if they hadn't reblinked the Thraben Inspector. So if they have a counter, I'm certainly dead. I'm not going to get the Cityscape Leveler trigger here. It's just going to be a big body that comes into play. Oh, whoa. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. This I should have thought about it. Yeah, this casts the spell, not... It doesn't put it into play. Because otherwise, how would it work with instants and sorceries? That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, this is great. This means the Celestis is flipping as well. So I'm getting another life. And another loot out of the deal. Guess I'm not going to have time to ever crack the Witching Well. I kept the Thopter Mechanic because I wanted to have something I could feed to the Elder Deep Fiend. So this is Flying Double Strike. You have Hexproof. It does not have Hexproof, so this thing is destined to be a Power Stone token, I think. I think I'll hold the Scholar of the Lost Trove back. Block. It might give them one more turn, but it gives me an awful lot more safety to have 2 blockers. Playing the Retrofitter Foundry is kind of free here because it taps for mana to play the Metallic Rebuke, so I should certainly cast it. It's only... I need 5 mana to emerge the Thopter Mechanic, which I'll still have access to 5 mana. And there's no way I could have enough mana to emerge the Thopter Mechanic and play Metallic Rebuke. Do I need to Metallic Rebuke that? I don't think so. I think I can just Elder Deep Fiend. Do I need to... Oh, I also... Metallic Rebuke doesn't do anything because of all the Worn Power Stone tokens. Or Power Stone tokens, whatever they're called. I'm gonna have to kill this thing again. That was a crazy game. I guess this way I have the option of giving myself access to Metallic Rebuke on turn 2. I think I'm just going to deal a damage and play my Scryland this turn, though. Tameshi. I do already have the Combat Courier. I think it still probably doesn't do enough. I get it, like it's not that bad, but I usually scry if there are cards in my deck that are going to be a lot better, and I think that there are cards in my deck that are a lot better than Tameshi there. Just going to play the Celestis and then leave up Metallic Rebuke. I could have gone slower and left up Metallic Rebuke and then left it up again. Which I guess I'm kind of wishing I had done. And then I let them resolve that Silex. Which is just going to make the game annoying, I think. Just going to pass this turn and leave up Metallic Rebuke. And then next turn I'll play one of my 4 mana cards. Because now I have to bait out the Silex. Don't want to counter that. I don't think I need to counter that. I think I can force them to Silex it away before it flips. And even if it flips, and it gives them access to a ton of mana, but it's not that scary, I would say. If they tap their mana next turn, I'll be able to just Cityscape level, or there's a Silex. It's a little bit risky because it's getting rid of one of my ways to deal with Demonic Pact to do that, but I think it's worth it. All right. Sadly, they have the Planeswalker. That's kind of brutal. So if they make the dog, I can bounce it and kill it with a Trotta, but I think they're just not going to make the dog. I think they would just plus it there. You can go after people's lands with this, can't you? No. Probably could have found that out just by reading it rather than casting it and seeing if it let me do it. Can't believe they Silex my Demonic Pact. It's really quite rude. So if I unearth this, I can bounce it back to my hand, right? So I might as well deal point of damage. Oh, that doesn't work. Why did I think that was going to work? Exile it at the beginning of the next step, or if it would leave the battlefield. All right. You got me on that one. Arena, you got me. Or I got myself. They don't have a lot of card drawing. It's going to take me a couple of turns to kill them. Not only card drawing, it's card drawing that mills them to the approach of the second sun. This would mill two draw, so they can't use it to next turn to get the approach of the second sun. That's good for me, I suppose. Draw step. Jace doesn't work. Draw from the Spirit Companion. They're one card short. I think my plan is I'm just gonna hope they can't get to their approach of the second sun this turn, and I just kill them with Elder Deep Fiend attacking for how many damage that would be. I guess 11 or only 10 if the Thopter Mechanic. Oh, yeah. Forgot they could do it like that, but they don't have enough mana because the Power Stones don't cast Approach of the Second Sun. Play your Thopter Mechanic. Hope they were just leaving their mana untapped to be able to activate the Thran Spider. Well, that's not great for me. But I do win. If they don't have anything. Need it to top deck. Close. All right, well, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around for a long one. There were some pretty awesome games in there. This cube is really cool. I do think this cube may have the most total words on all of its cards of any cube I've ever played or that's ever existed. Because there are a lot of cards that I really have to read a lot because it's harder than with like even a new set now where there's lots of words on all the cards in the new sets, but this has cards from so many different sets and different eras that they kind of work, they kind of do the same thing, but there's subtle differences depending on what set they're from. Like, you know, prowess versus all the pseudo prowess kind of cards. And it really makes it so that it's very easy to make mistakes. With that, I will leave you. Probably in the next videos I'm going to start making will have something to do with March of the Machines. So I hope you have that to look forward to, and I'll see you then.